Hi guys, it's Tolu Akinsami here for another edition of Launch Your Million Dollar Dream. We started this series a couple of weeks now, and this is the third in the series. We talked about vision, we talked about goal setting, and today we're going to be talking about mindset, the power of the mind. Having the right mindset is so important. I can't emphasize enough how having the proper mindset can impact your life, not just your life, also impact your business. Just today, I listened to a webinar by Grant Cardone. But before we talk about that, I'm just going to do this visualization exercise that I do every time. I believe so much in the power of visualizing. It's so important to be able to visualize the future that you want. Think about the kind of future that you want. What's your million dollar dream? How much do you want your million dollar dream to be? 6, 7, 8, 9 figure revenue? What do you want to do if you have that? You want to travel the world? You want to retire? You want to go fishing every day by the river? You want to be able to be at home with your children and just look after them, be there for them. You could even have a career that you love, but you want to have a side hustle. It's always good to have something on the side and create multiple income streams. You want to have something for retirement, leave a lasting legacy for future generations. There's so many things that you can do. Who says money is not important, right? So visualize that. I love visualization, just being able to think and imagine. If you've done that, let's talk about what happened today. I listened to Grant Cardone on making $1 million in 90 days without his phone, his contact list, or his credit cards, with nothing. It was, I think, a challenge that he had on Netflix, and they dropped him somewhere where he knew no one, and he had to start from scratch, build a business from scratch. And they only gave him about 100 quid and a raggedy old truck. He had nowhere to sleep. He had no access to his friends and family. And this shows me that having the right mindset is very important, because not only did Grant go on to make $1 million, he made $5.5 million in 90 days. The truth really is that you can have all the ingredients that you need to run a business, keep up showing consistently, have the skills, the knowledge, and all of that, yet you struggle in life, you struggle in business because of the mindset that you have. And not just people that are about to start business, even people that are already running businesses can have this battle in their mind. The truth is, if you can't win the battle of the mind, you can't win in life. It's a bitter truth, but it's the truth. I watched a particular clip of Grant Cardone during the interview, the webinar that I watched today, where he was crying. He was blubbering, his face, tears coming down. He was at a very low point. I think he had failed a couple of times during the challenge. He wasn't able to do some of the things he wanted to do, and he was crying. He probably was talking to his wife or someone, and he was saying, I can't do this, it's hard. I can't do this. This is, he felt terrible. And what he said about that video was it reminded him of when he started in business. So when he had nothing years ago, when he had nothing, and he thought that he was never going to be able to make it. So those feelings came back for him. And it was a real struggle that he had, at that point, but he was able to turn it around. So if you cry, if you feel emotions like this, it's normal. If someone like Grant, who actually at the moment is a billionaire, probably has a net worth of about $5 billion or something, and if you had to go through that crunch to get to the other side, then it's normal that you and I will go through that crunch as well. But the most important part is what you do at that point, how you overcome the mindset issue at that point. I'm a God girl, so I talk about my faith a lot. I talk about Jesus all the time. If you're a Christian or you're aware of the story of Jesus when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, I believe before the night before the cross, and he said a prayer. He said, Lord, let the Father, that this cup will pass over me. I mean, this just showed that even Christ had the battle, the internal battle, because he was aware of the intense war that he was going to face. And it probably felt the intensity of that and felt, that he just wanted the cup to pass over him. But we all know that that didn't, because if the cup had passed over him and if he hadn't gone on the cross, there'll be no Christianity today. So thank God that Jesus went through that and he came on the other side. So you and I will go through this battle. The universe will test you. It is impossible for you to come out on the other side as a millionaire, a billionaire, a successful person and not go through this internal struggles, this internal fight. The mind is a final frontier for the battles that we face. If you can win there and you can come on the other side of that battle, you will win. You will win in life. Let's talk about some typical problematic mindset that entrepreneurs have. A lot of this I've had myself, to be honest, and I've had to work through that to come on the other side. One is lack of resources. Many times, some entrepreneurs believe that they need more resources, they need more money, they need more time or connections to succeed. They feel that they don't have what it takes, they don't have the resources necessary to do what they need to do. So they procrastinate, they fail to make the most of the resources that they have. And even sometimes they see some of the resources that they have, the assets that they have as liabilities, rather than resources that they are. And this leads to what I'll call scarcity mindset. What is scarcity mindset? This is characterized by a belief that one has limited resources. You're unable to provide for yourself or for others. And then you get fixated on that idea, and you develop a very unhealthy mentality, and it leads to feeling of anxiety and fear, and it can really cause big problems for you. But on the flip side of that, if you have the abundance mindset believes that the world is full of resources. You have enough of what it takes. You have enough in terms of time, people. You can access all that you need to accomplish your goals. You only need to start from where you are and know how to link to the things that you need. There's also the fear of failure. Many entrepreneurs feel they're afraid of failure, and they see as a personal reflection of their abilities. They feel like, oh, I can do this, I can't do that, so I will fail at this. And this prevents them from taking calculated risks and trying new things that could potentially lead to growth. When I started my brand, I run a fashion brand, and by the grace of God, within the first we're around year 5, year 6 now. The first 3 years, we're able to hit 6 figures. However, I failed 10 years before when I went out in business. I failed massively. I lost all the capital. And I was so afraid to try to run any business after that. I was like, yeah, no more. Not until I was able to forgive myself, look at the things that I did wrong, pick myself up, was I able to turn that around. So I stopped seeing my failure as a personal reflection of my abilities. I looked at it logically and realized that I didn't have some certain skills and knowledge that I needed to succeed. And so what I did was get the skills, to get the knowledge that I needed so that I could be successful the second time around. Fear prevents you from taking the type of risk that you need to take and try new things. It also makes you take decisions that affects you or affects your business negatively, because you start to reduce yourself and you start to shut yourself down rather than grow and rather than blossom in business. There's also the imposter syndrome. Entrepreneurs, I feel this imposter syndrome, feel like they don't deserve the success that they're achieving, or they feel like they're not competent enough, and they start to have self-doubt and feel like they're not able to run this business. And this will start to reflect in the decision-making process. It starts to reflect on, the day-to-day running of the business. Even though there are lots of highly functioning entrepreneurs who are doing very well, that still feels the imposter syndrome. This was something I had to fight off in the early days of me starting out in business. And I had to tell myself, Tolu, you're enough. You have all that it takes. You can get all that you need to succeed. So you need to be able to crunch through these feelings, this wrong mindsets that will stop you. It will create brick walls and stop you from accessing the kind of success that you deserve. Fixed mindset. That's another mindset that will stop you from succeeding. What is a fixed mindset? It assumes that abilities and intelligence are innate traits, like you're born with certain things and that's how you are. You can't change, you can't grow, if you fail at something, then there's no need to try and succeed because that's who you are. Entrepreneurs with a fixed mindset, or even people generally with a fixed mindset, shy away from challenges, fearing that it will expose who they are. So they build this brick wall around themselves. And really, it is just that they're afraid of failure. They're afraid of growth. And they feel like because they failed before, they feel like because they lack knowledge in a certain area, there's no point trying out new things or trying to grow because they feel like they will fail. So having the flip side of that is having a growth mindset. You want to grow in business. You want to grow. You want a growth mindset. You want a mindset that says that you can acquire skills, you can acquire knowledge, you can acquire abilities that you need to grow. Everyone can acquire whatever it is that they need to grow. Another mindset that stops people from growing is perfectionism, believing that everything is to be perfect before taking action. This can lead to analysis paralysis, where you're overanalyzing and overanalyzing and overanalyzing. Entrepreneurs who fall into this trap delay launching. We talked about that last week. If you launch a perfect product, you've launched too late. You keep falling into the trap of trying to make everything perfect. That will lead into paralysis, and by analysis slows down the process, slows down all that you're doing. Another thing that you need to think about is comparing yourself to others. I call this joy killers, success blockers. When you're comparing yourself to others, you're thinking that you should be this way, you should be ahead of this person. You start to feel envious, you start to feel jealous, and all these feelings will stop you from accessing what you need to grow. If you look at someone that you deem as being quite successful, what do you feel? If you see someone doing something that you really want to achieving, they're running something and they're doing it so well and it's your dream, how do you feel? If you feel envious and you feel jealous, you need to work on your mindset, because these feelings will stop you from accessing what you need and all the resources that you need to reach that level of success. I always say that an envious person almost will not be able to achieve the level of success that they're envious about. So instead of focusing on these wrong emotions, you need to get clear on what you want to achieve and why you are feeling this way. Obviously, you're feeling this way because you want that level of success yourself. So all you need to do is be proactive and work on what you need, the resources you need to grow to that level of success. So it's very important to stop comparing yourself to others and remove yourself away from environments where people are comparing you to others, where people are saying things to you that are bringing up these negative emotions. So let's talk a little bit about what you should be doing to alleviate this sort of negative mindset. Before we go into that, let's talk about lack of self-worth as well. I wrote a little bit about this in my book. Some entrepreneurs, not all, struggle with self-worth, and this affects the way they price their offerings. They're not willing to charge a lot, and they feel that this can hinder what people think about the products. People might think it's too expensive, or people might think that, oh, why is this person charging so much? But what you're just doing is hindering your profitability and business growth. I tell you one thing, the amount of energy that it takes to sell a product for £5 is the same amount of energy that you need to sell a product for £500. The way you market and the way you do all the things that you need to do is the same. So you're just hindering profitability and business growth. So you need to think about your relationship with money, because this will affect how you price your product, and also the feelings of self-worth behind you being afraid of charging what you need to charge for your product. Also, there's the inability to delegate. Some entrepreneurs believe that nobody can do the stuff that needs to be done the way they can, and then they feel that they need to handle all aspects of the business or be in every aspect of the business. So I'm a little bit like that, because I feel like I need to do everything. I need to make sure, that this gets done, that gets done. But then to run a successful business, you have to be able to create systems that you believe in, so that when you step away from the business, those processes and systems are working for you. You don't have to be in everything. In fact, if you try to be in everything, it will lead to burnout, and it will prevent you on focusing on the high value tasks that will really lead to the growth of your business, right? Also, there's a lack of adaptability. If we think about during COVID and how the whole world came to a standstill, lots of businesses had to close down because they were unwilling or unable to change, to pivot, to move quickly to suit what was happening in the world at that time. If you're unwilling to adapt to new technologies, trends, or customs, this can limit your ability to stay competitive. So you can't say, I'm going to do this certain way, and that's how I'm going to keep doing it. I always share the story that I read in Harvard Business Review. There was a company that started a long time ago. I can't remember the exact date, almost 100 years thereabout. And they created model locomotive trains. And there were lots of collectors in those times, and people would come and collect and sell these at a high value. And this was good business. But over the years, the people in that era, that trend died with the people in that era. And as they started to grow old and started to pass on, the younger generation were not taking on that, that as something that they wanted. There were no collectors to be found, and people were not collecting locomotive trains and things like that. So the business was going to get bankrupted. It was about to go bust. But luckily, they were able to get a new CEO who brought new ideas, and they changed the way they did business and refocused who the ideal customer was. And we talked a little bit about knowing your ideal customer and how this can really impact your business. We're going to talk more about this in future videos that I'm going to be producing. And so they realized that the ideal customer changed. They were no longer anyone ready to buy collector trains. And so they started to create trains, toy trains, locomotive trains, modern trains. And rather than collectors, they focus on small children, small boys who actually loved these trains. And boom, they were able to reel the business back from bankruptcy. So they were able to adapt and change quickly. I mean, there are lots of businesses. Look at Blockbuster. When things changed and people were going online, it didn't change quickly enough. And that's when Netflix came on and Amazon came on. So you need to be able to change, if you're in business, and pivot quickly. There's also the overemphasis on control, needing to control every aspect of your business. This will stop you from scaling and growing. You need to hands off and let the people that can do it take over and do it. And also, there's lack of persistence. If you're not showing up like you should be showing up, if you're not giving it what you need to give it, your business is not going to grow. So when people start in business, they believe that success should come quickly and they should start seeing money quickly. And if they don't see that, it starts to lead to frustration and they give up prematurely. Have you seen this video or this story? You heard the story of someone who was digging for gold. He did not know that it was like just very few centimeters or so from gold, and he just gave up. And someone came and, with renewed energy and just struck a few blows and took all the golds. And he had been digging, the first person had been digging for a long time, but they gave up prematurely and wouldn't persist enough. When I started in business, it took me about 2 years thereabouts to earn my first sale. I kept on building my marketing, building every aspect of my business, focusing on my ideal customer, and just looking at all the aspects and getting the skills and knowledge that I needed to grow the business. But I kept on going. I'll never forget the very first day, September 2019, when I made my first sale. It was the best sound, the best thing I had ever seen. Oh, made my first win. So don't give up too easily. Success is just round the corner. It's very important to be able to overcome all these negative mindsets that we talked about today if you're going to succeed in business. Because if you don't work on overcoming all these limiting beliefs, you will not reach your full potential. And things that you need to be doing is self-awareness. Recognize and acknowledge the specific limiting beliefs that you hold. Which one of all these things I talked about? And be honest with yourself. Be introspective, right? Understand the thoughts and feelings that are holding you back. You have to be real and genuine with yourself. If you're not authentic with yourself, you're not going to be able to crunch through these feelings. Challenge those belief systems. Once you've identified your limiting beliefs, challenge them with evidence and logic and ask yourself whether these beliefs are based on facts or assumptions. And most of the time, they're based on assumptions. Look for examples of people who have succeeded despite similar challenges. Read books about them, audiobooks. There's so many free audiobooks on YouTube. If you don't have, if you're not able to buy books, read the books of people that have crunched through similar experiences. Reframe negative thoughts. Negative thoughts are self-doubting thoughts. Reframe that into positive and empowering ones. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, reframe this thought as, I am constantly learning and growing. Seek support. Surround yourself with a very supportive network of mentors, peers, and friends who can provide encouragement. This is very important. Who can provide advice and a fresh perspective. They can help see your strengths and challenge your limiting beliefs and tell you and just keep cheering you on, telling you can do this, you've got this, you can make this come true. And set realistic goals. Last week we talked about goal setting, and the reason why a lot of people don't achieve their goals is because they do not set realistic goals. They're not using SMART goals. You can listen to that webinar again. It talks about setting SMART goals. So break down larger goals into smaller ones, achievable steps. Look at your goals in smaller steps, that can help build your confidence and help you get quick wins. So challenge the belief that you're incapable of achieving your objectives. Practice self-compassion. Forgive yourself. I said I failed in business a couple of years ago, and I wrote about that experience in my book. I got capital from my parents, and they were so gracious enough to give me thousands of pounds to invest in that business. I was, raring to go. I lost all that money. And it took me quite a while to forgive myself. It took me 10 years to even try to think about any kind of business. So practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding, just as you will treat a friend. Acknowledge the setbacks and mistakes are a part of the entrepreneurial journey. It's going to happen to everyone who's going through. You just have to be able to crunch through that process. Don't define your worth or potential. Allow yourself to have a growth mindset. Allow yourself to breathe. Allow yourself to grow. And always visualize success. Practice visualization. Techniques where you imagine yourself overcoming challenges, achieving your goals. This can help rewire your subconscious mind and boost your confidence. Take action. Action is one of the most effective ways to challenge and change limiting beliefs. Start taking small steps towards your goals, even if they make you uncomfortable. With each success, your confidence will grow and grow and grow. Educate yourself as well. Get the materials that you need for growth. Go for webinars, go for courses, keep growing, keep, not just applying knowledge, but learning how to apply this knowledge to get the kind of results that you want so that you can grow in confidence, celebrate your progress. When those wins come, celebrate yourself, give yourself a pat on the back. No matter how small they may seem, those wins may seem, recognize your progress and remind yourself of your accomplishment. Do not compare yourself to anyone. Everyone's journey is different and unique. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness techniques can help you stay present and aware of your thoughts. This can help you catch those thoughts and challenge those negative beliefs before they take hold and take root in your subconscious mind. Practice affirmations. Create positive affirmations. These are so important that counteract your limiting beliefs, and repeat these affirmations daily to rewire your subconscious mind over time. Just keep telling yourself these things, keep telling yourself these things. Words matter over time, you know. So it's very important for you to drop this nugget into your subconscious. You're reprogramming your mind. A lot of us have a lot of programs working in the back of our minds from childhood, things that we've been told, how we've been instructed to believe that we are. We've been told, oh, you're this certain way, you're that certain way, and we've come to imbibe this negative things about ourselves. So we need to reprogram our mind. And that's part of having a growth mindset that says you can grow, you can do this, you can achieve this, you can drop these habits, you can embrace this, and you can actually be anything that you want to be. Track success. Keep a journal where you record your successes, no matter how small. Statistics, very important. If you're going to be running a business, very, very important. I had to learn that the hard way. Statistics are so important. So keep a record of everything that's happening in and around you, okay, to help you also create systems that work, no matter how small. This record can serve as a reminder of your capability and your progress. Remember that overcoming negative mindset is a continuous process. It's continuous. It's not a day thing, a week thing, or a year thing. It's okay to seek professional help if you need to. You need to talk to someone. Some counseling or therapy might help you overcome some things that you're really, really finding hard to crunch through. The goal is to create a foundation of positivity. If you can win in your mind, you can win in business, you can win in life. Self-belief is very important. Believe in yourself. I can do this. I've got this. You need the mental strength that supports your entrepreneurial journey. So you need to keep growing this, and you need to keep pushing yourself forward. I'm going to talk about my membership program. It's called launchandskill.toluakinsami.com. If you want to be a part of a group of people that can challenge you, that can help you to grow, then walk you through launching your businesses, the different steps and the things that you need to do, this is the best place for you. So go on there, launchandskill.toluakinsami.com. Thanks for listening. Today it's been another awesome episode. See you next time, and we'll be talking about creating. That's the fun bit. So we've talked about vision, about goal setting. It's time to start to create. Look into those ideas and bring them to life. Thank you for joining. See you next time. Bye.